Hola, bienvenidos a Discapacidad Televisión. Recuerda suscribirte para no perderte los últimos estrenos y programas en vivo. Danos un me gusta, y así nos ayudarás a conocerte mejor, y saber qué programación es tu favorita. Por favor, no te olvides de compartir, así, más personas podrán disfrutar de Discapacidad Televisión y toda su programación. Muchas gracias.
Hola, bienvenidos a Cambiando el Mundo de Personas con Discapacidad.
Cambiaremos el mundo teniendo igualdad.
Mi nombre es Raquel Quesada y seré la presentadora del mismo. En el programa hablaremos de la no discriminación, la participación e inclusión plenas y efectiva en la sociedad, a la igualdad de oportunidades de los derechos y a la accesibilidad de las personas con discapacidad, el respeto a la evolución de las facultades de los niños y las niñas con discapacidad y sus derechos a preservar su dignidad, la inclusión, la sensibilidad, la educación, la diversidad. En este programa todos los sábados celebraremos la vida de las personas con discapacidad. Que juntos podemos cambiar el mundo de personas con discapacidad.
En el nuevo paradigma de la educación inclusiva no cabe la educación especial. Las estructuras educativas especiales han de migrar en un periodo razonable, no se puede hacer todo de la noche a la mañana, hacia estructuras y prácticas plenamente inclusivas para todo el alumnado, sin distinciones ni acepciones.
La Convención Internacional sobre los Derechos de las Personas con Discapacidad de la ONU de 2006 marca el punto de partida de la polémica por el cierre de los colegios de educación especial. El valor de la inclusión educativa es incuestionable y desde la educación especial se desarrollan multitud de procesos innovadores para asegurar esas oportunidades para alumnos con discapacidad.
No es admisible por más tiempo la segregación educativa por razón de discapacidad. Es un imperativo jurídico internacional de derechos humanos comprometido por España con la comunidad internacional y con el sistema de Naciones Unidas. En el caso de la discapacidad parece que forma parte del paisaje, que se acepta con naturalidad y que no provoca especial escándalo, pero no deja de ser una segregación por razón de una diferencia. Se trata de una violación grave de derechos humanos. Proponemos que en el plazo de 5 años desde que se adopte tendríamos ese lapso para migrar de estructuras no inclusivas a estructuras inclusivas. Que no se creen ni se pongan en servicio más centros de educación especial y que no se admitan más alumnos con discapacidad en los centros especiales, deberían ser declarados a extinguir, que subsistan hasta su completa desaparición.
Discapacidad Televisión.
¡Hola mundo!
Primer canal de televisión dedicado al colectivo de personas con discapacidad desde 2006. A continuación, Footless Yo, más allá de una amputación. Presenta BECKWITH. Audio en inglés, subtítulos en castellano.
Well, hello there, my beautiful, lovely internet friends. welcome to the floor. This video is all about you, kid, and you. There's too many of them. I'm not gonna make it. So I am a below-the-knee amputee, and I own two very big dogs. This guy's about 95 pounds. That pretty girl is about 65. And a question that I am often asked, there's gonna be too much puppy madness in this video. I'm not even gonna try to apologize for it. Are you trying to eat me? So a question that I often get asked is, how do I take care of dogs well when I have a leg that A, is gone, my prosthetic isn't working very well, I'm having nerve issues, there are many days I can't walk, any additional weight on my leg, like a dog pulling on a leash, is incredibly painful, so I can't do that, and I live alone. Taking care of these monsters with the disability that I have takes a lot of extra work, or just like extra thought, but I have been able to kind of design my life to take care of my babies, because I'm one of those annoying people who says my dogs are my world. But there are so many things about dog ownership as an amputee that I never would have thought of, like really minuscule, annoying details. So welcome to how I am a puppy parent without a leg, the adaptations I make. Let's dive into it, but first a quick word from our delightful sponsor, Discord. Hi, brief interruption. You don't have to let me know. I already know I've never looked this good. I'm recovering from COVID and a second round of getting shingles, why God, meaning that I have not seen the light of day or my friends in a very long time. Okay, puppy care. First and foremost, I need to introduce you to these lovely creatures. This is Mr. Leo. I adopted him about 3 months ago. He's a big boy. He's like a German Shepherd Mastiff mix. Who knows what else? And he is a goofball. Picture the personality of a lab, but with the loudness and loyalty of a German Shepherd. And that's what we got here. Now, he is still learning manners. He's just over a year old, so he's still a puppy. And then we have Miss Sophie, who is sleepy at the moment and cuddling her little football toy. Go, you can have it back. So my little Sophie here is a purebred German Shepherd. I've had her since she was a baby. She turned 5 this year. Stop growing up, kid. And when I say that she is my shadow, I cannot do anything without her being right there next to me. She is a very protective, sweet, super obedient, very tennis ball obsessed puppy. So considering that they are absolute perfection and deserve only the best, how do I take care of them? Let's dive into that. Okay, dog care thing number 1, exercise. Having any dog, it's super important to exercise them, but especially I have working breed dogs. They need things to do. They need to be moving their bodies to stay healthy and engaged and not destroy my couch, but I cannot at all consistently take them for walks, so let me show you what I do. Somebody, I'm not gonna point any fingers, have so much energy that they have been barking at every truck that goes past. They're not usually like this. They gotta get their energy out, and so I'm gonna show you what I do to actually get them good exercise, especially when I can't really walk them, which has been pretty much all the time anymore. But puppies, they still need outlets. They still need places to go and things to do, and imaginary squirrels to chase. So let me show you my favorite secret weapon against their energy. It's Benadryl. No, I'm kidding. Leo, would you like to go for a car ride? Yeah, you would? Yeah? You guys do want to go? Mr. Leo, we've talked about this. You can't ride in the front seat, and you also can't eat my winter hat. I go in my North Face hoodie. Turn the heat on, gonna make the glasses sting. Okay, it's time to turn down the Panic at the Disco and listen to the Panic at the Puppies. Once we get here, I allow the dogs to go nuts. They cannot before this moment, but as soon as we get on the street and turn into this driveway, the chorus begins. Okay. Yeah? Hi, ladies. Are you enjoying your time? So I have the great luxury of having my family live nearby, and they have a little bit of property up in a forest area. Quick note, I've said forest before in other videos, and people are like, where are the trees? They burned. This actually used to be a super dense forest. We had a fire that came through, it took everything out, but it is slowly recovering. And so I'm able to bring them up here, just throw the tennis balls for them, especially on bad days. Like, even if I can't use my leg, I can still like sit and get them some exercise, and then they frolic and play. This is probably one of the biggest tools that I am crazy grateful to have, like a place that I can safely bring them where they can burn off that energy. And by the time they get home, they sleepy puppies again. Come on, Sophie, get your ball. Good girl. Come on, buddy. You guys tuckered and ready to go home? Good dogs. Do you like how there's just a random foot back here? Okay, next thing on the puppy care agenda is the basics, food and water. This seems like not a big deal, right? They've actually posed way more of a problem than I would have ever thought through before because, like I've talked about, carrying any kind of additional weight on my leg causes a lot of pain. So when I am carrying these water jugs to refill them or lifting up like a 50-pound bag of dog food, it can be really problematic, and there are some days where it is extraordinarily painful to do so. And so what I try to do is one of two things. If I feel capable, I try to kind of batch it all at once, get the dog food in, get all the water filled so I'm not having to take extra steps. But there have also been times when I've like asked a friend to come over and just help me bring in the dog food bag because my leg cannot do it, or help me refill the water bottles because they actually weigh a pretty decent amount. Now, if you are a pet owner, you know about pet hair and the mess that they make. Keeping my house clean is really, really important for a variety of reasons, but one of the things that has actually posed a danger to me is dog hair collecting on the bottom of my prosthetic foot. So even like clumps of hair like this can be a big problem because it is really easy to not only slip on, but also that hair can accumulate on the bottom of my prosthetic foot if I'm not wearing a shoe. I don't realize it because I can't feel it, and then I have fallen more than once. Like I've slipped in my house or lost my balance because the bottom is entirely coated in dog hair. I'm like talking around this plant, sorry. So not letting dog hair accumulate is a must. And so it's really important that I keep the dog hair off the ground, which is basic good hygiene for the house anyways. But yeah, dog hair kind of became dangerous after I lost my leg. Also, you know, the basics of keeping toys off the ground so I'm not tripping over things. I think that's less an amputee thing and more just a human thing, but also my wheelchair makes this extra important. Keeping the floor path clean for my wheelchair is really important because this is an obstacle course I was just not prepared for today. Obviously, this is usually a pretty quick little fix and then I'm on my way, but it's nice not to have to navigate an unexpected wheelchair obstacle course because of puppy toys. So let's talk about the backyard and cleanup. When I rented out this house, one of the primary concerns was A, you know, can I use my wheelchair inside? Yes, but B, is the backyard big enough for the dogs? I saw a variety of places that were in my price range that worked really great for like main level living but had really small backyards, and so unfortunately I couldn't go with those. I ended up finding this place where the backyard is big enough that they can run, they can play, they can kind of exercise themselves, especially on days when I might not be able to get them out. But then also there's the reality that it's a big yard and I've got to clean up after them. There are 3 different strategies that I've used for this. Number 1, obviously if my leg is having a good day or I'm able to consistently walk, I can just take care of it myself. Secondly, I've had friends or hired help come over to help me with that when I wasn't able to walk without too much pain, because you know, it's a lot of walking to clean things up. And also something that I may eventually do is I know that there are companies you can hire that will come out and, you know, clean kind of pet waste from your backyard. I don't really want to take on that additional expense right now, and I'm still mostly capable. So for now, that one's not so much of an issue, but it's good to know that I have options in the future. I will also add that I am very aware of the fact that as I get older, I will need more help if I want to continue to keep big dogs as pets as part of my little fur baby family. Do you cringe every time someone says fur baby? Because I don't. I love it. And things like getting them enough exercise, carrying large bags of food and water, I'm already feeling that some of those tasks are pretty painful. So I have friends and family around who are more than willing to help. And if I ever needed to, that would be an additional expense. There are definitely people who can come by and kind of help out with some of those, you know, weekly tasks, or dog walkers who come by daily to take them out, but I'm not in a financial place where that's a good idea currently, and so I'm really grateful to have the support of people who love me and are willing to help out. And honestly, on some days I'm great and I don't need it. It just depends, but looking forward to the future, I know that I have to plan wisely when it comes to the creatures in my home to take care of them well. Thank you so much for joining me today to hear a little bit more about how I take care of my puppy dogs. As an amputee, the reality is that pretty much every aspect of life is always about adaptation if you're someone with a disability. I found that to be true. And here's the other thing. Regardless if you're able-bodied or not, you know, we're all adapting to everything all the time. So these are how I've tackled some of the challenges that I have with big old puppies. Also, if any of these things you think I could be doing better or differently, let me know. I am always open to suggestions. Also, are you a pet owner, a puppy owner, perhaps a cat mom? Maybe you're into ferrets? I don't know. Let me know in the comment section down below. I love hearing about other people's animals. So a few videos ago, I talked about how I really hated having to use a wheelchair. I was having a lot of icky feelings about it. And then I realized I was gonna have to move for an accessible house. Ew. Sarcasm. So I moved, and this is the best freaking thing I have ever done for myself. All of those icky feelings, gone. I mean, like, Most of them. We still have some work to do, but oh my god, this is amazing. Welcome to my new home. Last week, I moved all of my stuff into this new house. So in the previous video that I've linked up above, stop being a weirdo, I talked about like having to move for accessibility needs. I am a below the knee amputee and I've been experiencing a lot of pain this year. Having to have my leg on all of the time has gotten to the point where it's not sustainable. And I felt kind of forced to make this decision to move to find somewhere that was like accessible to use my wheelchair at home. But gosh darn it, I was not happy about it. And that is an understatement. I was actually very angry, very sad, very just frustrated that I was gonna have to bow to my limitations and move because I needed to use a wheelchair at home. And I made a couple videos talking about how I don't like having those icky feelings about mobility devices, but it's something that I'm working through. And can I just say, I am so freaking glad that I listened to logic over emotion in this situation, because the day that I moved into this house, I was almost in tears of joy that I could access what I needed to access in a way that is fit for my body. So I just got moved in and it's like 10:30 at night and my leg is absolute trash. Like it hurts so bad from being up and like carrying things all day. And I was able to sit down in my wheelchair right here and go about my whole friggin' house, like everything I need to get to like take weight off my leg, but not have to hop around the house or use crutches or whatever. And if I wasn't so emotionally exhausted from today, I'd probably be in tears because this stuff matters. Like I can get to the kitchen, the bathroom, my office, my bedroom, let the dogs outside all while using a chair. I no longer have to have my leg on when I'm at home, and I cannot begin to tell you what a friggin' relief that is. Now yes, as you see, I am wearing my leg, but it's just because with filming it's easier to keep it on when I'm doing stuff and then I pop it right back off. So I want to talk a little bit about the actual moving process, the place itself, and kind of my very evolved feelings on using a mobility device now that I'm actually using it and it's benefiting me. Perhaps a little house tour in there too. But first, a quick word from our sponsor. Thank you so much to today's sponsor, United Healthcare. Along with moving, I also recently had some major life changes, meaning that I would need to start looking for health insurance. This can be a very nerve-wracking process, especially if you're someone like me who has pretty substantial medical needs from time to time. One place that I've been looking is uhcopenenrollment.com. It is a one-stop shop for information on how to choose a health insurance plan, plus tips to consider to ensure your coverage is right for you. They even have tips to consider when looking for specialty benefits like vision or dental, which helps save me from having to look elsewhere. Now, if you get your health insurance through your employer, open enrollment typically happens during a 2 to 3 week period between October and December. You can head over to uhc.com to help find information about choosing a plan that's going to be best for you. For more helpful tips or to learn more on how to choose a health plan that's right for you, check out the United Healthcare link in my description. Thank you again to United Healthcare. Now let's hop back into the video. So back in April of this year, I signed a 1-year lease at my old house. That house was not remotely accessible, and I made that decision really quickly because I needed to get out of my previous place. And I knew that it wasn't gonna be good for my body, but I didn't want to believe that that would really be the case. Like I was kind of going on hope that my leg would be just fine, even though it was already headed in a not great direction. And within a couple months, I realized that it was not sustainable to live there. When I am out and about in the world, I am able to use my prosthetic leg. I'm able to look like I'm walking pretty functionally, but the issue is there is a lot of pain in my stump and my residual limb all of the time. Most of it's nerve pain. I'm working on kind of modifying my socket, trying different options, which you'll see in an upcoming video, to kind of help with that. But the reality is, if I was out and about, I would spend all day on my leg in increasing amounts of pain, come home and not be able to take it off and actually relax, because everything I needed was on a different level. Everything was stairs. And when you have no place to actually let down, to like actually breathe for a second, with all of the other major life changes that I've experienced this year, from divorce to a lot of loss, I realized that like I was already sort of at a breaking point, and the physical pain definitely added to that, and something had to give. And so I started going through the functional motions of seeing if I could get out of my lease for accessibility reasons without being charged for the full year, because God knows that would not work. I explained the situation to my leasing company. They said they needed a letter from my doctor. I went to that appointment. I got that letter, but the whole time I was like, I don't really need to do this, because I was very salty about it. I didn't want it to have to be the case. And even as I signed the lease on this place, like seeing that it was gonna work better for me, I was just in tears about this often. It really scared me, I think is the best way to put it, that the limitations that I was experiencing had become severe enough to have to move, because I'm sure I'm not alone in this. Moving is the worst. It is exhausting, it's stressful, it is physically painful, and all your routines get shaken up. Like it's one of the most stressful life events, and I had just done it. I was like, I don't want to do that again. But I knew deep down, like the logical part of me, that I needed to do this, so I went through with the motions in a bad mood, got it done. But the second that I got my stuff in here and spent my first night here, I was like, holy shit. Why did I not do this sooner? Why did I deny my body the help and like the accessibility and the mobility that it needed? Because I felt bad about having to make that choice. The benefit of being able to live somewhere that I can take my leg off and that is like actually built for my body, it is amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Also, side note, the puppies clearly love it, which is a win-win. Now when I wake up or when I come home after a day of being on my leg, I can just take it off and ditch it and navigate my entire house in my chair. That's outstanding. It's fantastic, it's fabulous, and I am a big fan. And it's really interesting to me how quickly my thoughts on mobility devices like a wheelchair have shifted drastically the second I started seeing what a great benefit they were in my life. And as I've been going through this change, I keep coming back to this conversation I had with someone who's very close to me. Someone who's a very badass person, right? Can do a lot, is around a lot of people who accomplish a lot of things. And something that they said to me is when you see people accomplishing all these incredible physical feats and overcoming obstacles and difficulties, obviously there's a lot of strength involved, but it actually takes a lot more strength to say I can't do this right now or I need something else. And that in particular is a strength that they admire and wish that more people understood that, you know, pushing through is not always the highest good. And especially coming from this person who is very familiar with a culture of like, do everything, push through, hustle, you know, love the struggle. That all definitely takes strength, but I have to agree that it takes a very different kind of strength to realize when that is not the best course of action for you and to use the frickin' tools that you have at your disposal to take care of yourself. And I've really been trying to embrace that, especially as I've gone through this move. The way that I was raised and the culture that we live in doesn't really think of accepting limitations as a good thing. In fact, if I ever talk about something I can't do, I will get dozens of comments being like, don't let anything stop you. And I'm like, dude, you don't understand. If I do this, I am literally damaging my body. Yes, do I have the capability to overcome my limitations and do it anyways? For sure. Am I sacrificing years of my life or my joints in the process of doing that? Yes. Where is the badge of honor in that? Where is the badge of honor in breaking myself, my body, or my mind to appear as something that I am not? Limitations are not a bad thing. But I do think it is a very mature, adult, and strong thing when we can say, these are the limitations I have, what can I do within that? You know, what tools can I utilize to expand that? Another kind of smaller thing is I've started using crutches sometimes when I go to my jiu-jitsu gym. Previously, would not do that because I didn't want to look, oh, I hate that that's still a thought in my head, but I didn't want to look a certain way crutching into the gym without my leg on. Like I want to look like I'm strong on and off the mats, but it was really difficult for me to get my leg on and off, especially after athletic activity when there's a lot of sweat. It's also just not comfortable. And so on days when I'm not feeling it, I'll just throw my gym bag over my shoulder, crutch on in there. I don't have to hop around, which is amazing. It's good for my body. And I'm pretty sure that no one actually cares, but if they do, okay, cool. I'm still doing what's best for my body. And I feel like that's kind of the theme of the year for me. Really learning how to say to myself what I need, what is too much, and respect that without all of the judgment that so often comes in my brain, without assigning good and bad. Like there isn't a right or a wrong when it comes to using a prosthetic leg versus crutches versus a chair. There's no moral value or societal value on that. Actually, it is what is the best tool for the job. I do want to reiterate, this is still an ongoing process for me. I still have a lot of moments of feeling weak or defeated or bad or like I'm losing because I can't do as much as I want to do on my prosthetic leg. But that is evaporating more and more as I embrace it and like use it to my benefit, which is the whole point. And that is really gosh darn cool. You are just being the cutest thing through this entire video. No one's gonna care about what I have to say when there are these cute puppies just scattered about my couch. looking at them is much more important than anything I could have to say. Okay, so let me take you on a very brief house tour. I'm gonna post the full version over on Patreon, so if you wanna see that, check it out there. But welcome to my new place. Okay, so for this video, I am actually gonna keep my leg on because I don't quite know how to effectively wheelchair about and also film because I need my hands to roll. I need my hands to hold a camera. I'll figure it out eventually, but welcome to my home. So the kitchen is super wide. It makes using a chair to like cook, make coffee, things like that super simple. I cleared off this side of my dining room table so that when I'm using my chair, I pop it under there. We're good to go. We have Sid, our goldfish here. He's not a goldfish, he's a betta fish. I know my fish species. And then over here, got the couch set up mostly for the puppies. I've started crocheting a lot. I still don't have internet at the new place. It's been about a week and a half now. And so I've been like, what do people do when they can't stream movies? Crafts, hobbies, which has been really nice actually. Coming down the hallway, this is also wide enough for my chair. I keep her parked back here when I'm not using her. This makes it super easy when I'm done with the day. I just roll in there, turn it around, hop on my bed, no leg needed. And there's an extra room up here that I am using as my office. And then the bathroom right here. Quick note about this. This is the only non-wheelchair friendly doorway in the house. And so I just like roll up to the door frame, stand up, use the counterbalance, take one hopping step to like get to the toilet or the shower, and I'm good to go. So it's actually not an issue. Now, if you're a smart cookie, you may have thought, Joe, your house still has stairs. You would be correct. So the thing is, this house is a bi-level, meaning there's an entire level downstairs. And the only way to access it is unfortunately by stairs. So the reason I chose this one is because there was nothing else that was in my price range in my area that was like just one level and entirely wheelchair accessible. I imagine one day that's going to be necessary. I'm not there yet, where I really just need to use a wheelchair at home when I'm home, but I'm not really using it when I'm leaving the house. And unless something changes dramatically, I don't expect that to change in the next year, hopefully. This also allows me to be able to get a roommate because there's an entire area downstairs that's kind of separate. I don't like having roommates. As social as I can be when I come home, I really like being alone, but I also realize that financially it's probably a good choice and I have the space for it. Hi, Sophie. So yes, this is my new place. Hi, Leo. Hi, buddy. So far, it is working amazingly well for me, and I am so grateful to have the opportunity to be able to do this. I know that it's not a position everyone has, and so being able to get out of my lease and find a place that I can live in, I'm insanely grateful for and really excited about it, and it already starts to feel a little bit like home, which is a lot faster than places usually feel like home for me. Something else that has been really important and beneficial about moving and kind of shifted the way that I was looking at it was thinking of it as another new start. I got divorced this year, and pretty soon after I made that decision, 2 of my dogs passed away unexpectedly. So there was an immense amount of loss quickly, and then a lot of darkness that followed that. The immediate months after that, I was very much deeply not okay, to a level that I'm not ever sure that I've been before. Just everything was painful, everything was different, everything was lost. Every relationship in my life felt weird or fractured. And that previous home saw all of that. It held all of that. And looking at this as like a fresh start when I am now in at least a little bit of a better place, to kind of leave a lot of that there has actually been a like breath of fresh air. And part of me was like, you already got a new start 6 months ago, you don't need another one. But really, who is anyone to say that but me? I absolutely am gonna embrace the fact that this is another new start and that it's good for my brain, good for my body, and I'm really excited about it. So with that being said, thank you for hanging out with me for my little house tour and moving update. So far things are really, really good, and if there's one thing I could say, it's I am so glad that I listened to what my body needed, because I have already felt the benefits of that. It can be really hard to overcome all the internalized narratives about mobility aids and physical limitations, but I'm working on it, gosh darn it, and we'll get there step by step. A huge thank you again to United Healthcare for sponsoring today's video. A big thank you to all my patrons over on Patreon. You guys enabled me to do what I do here. Thank you. And most importantly to you, watching this video right now. Thank you for spending a few minutes out of your day here with me today. You could be anywhere else in the world doing anything else, and you chose to hang out with me and my sleepy puppies for a bit, and that means the world to me. Thank you. I love you guys, I'm thinking about you, and I will see you in the next video. Do you want to wave goodbye? They're like, no mom, we just want a nap. Mwah. Bye, guys. I gotta move now, buddy. I can't move though. I can't finish this video. I can't move because I am a pillow for a dog and there is no greater job. So I guess I'll just be here, sitting until his nap is over.
Discapacidad Televisión.
¡Hola, mundo!
Primer canal de televisión dedicado al colectivo de personas con discapacidad desde 2006.
Hola, bienvenidos a Discapacidad Televisión. Recuerda suscribirte para no perderte los últimos estrenos y programas en vivo. Danos un me gusta, y así nos ayudarás a conocerte mejor y saber qué programación es tu favorita. Por favor, no te olvides de compartir, así, más personas podrán disfrutar de Discapacidad Televisión y toda su programación. Muchas gracias.
Acéptame como soy.
Hola, bienvenidos a Cambiando el Mundo de Personas con Discapacidad.
No cambiaremos el mundo teniendo igualdad.
Mi nombre es Raquel Quesada y seré la presentadora del mismo. En el programa hablaremos de la no discriminación, la participación e inclusión plenas y efectiva en la sociedad, a la igualdad de oportunidades de los derechos y a la accesibilidad de las personas con discapacidad, el respeto a la evolución de las facultades de los niños y las niñas con discapacidad y sus derechos a preservar su dignidad, la inclusión, la sensibilidad, la educación, la diversidad. En este programa todos los sábados celebraremos la vida de las personas con discapacidad. Que juntos podemos cambiar el mundo de personas con discapacidad.
En el nuevo paradigma de la educación inclusiva no cabe la educación especial. Las estructuras educativas especiales han de migrar en un periodo razonable, no se puede hacer todo de la noche a la mañana, hacia estructuras y prácticas plenamente inclusivas para todo el alumnado, sin distinciones ni acepciones.
La Convención Internacional sobre los Derechos de las Personas con Discapacidad de la ONU de 2006 marca el punto de partida de la polémica por el cierre de los colegios de educación especial. El valor de la inclusión educativa es incuestionable y desde la educación especial se desarrollan multitud de procesos innovadores para asegurar esas oportunidades para alumnos con discapacidad.
No es admisible por más tiempo la segregación educativa por razón de discapacidad. Es un imperativo jurídico internacional de derechos humanos comprometido por España con la comunidad internacional y con el sistema de Naciones Unidas. En el caso de la discapacidad parece que forma parte del paisaje, que se acepta con naturalidad y que no provoca especial escándalo, pero no deja de ser una segregación por razón de una diferencia. Se trata de una violación grave de derechos humanos. Proponemos que en el plazo de 5 años desde que se adopte tendríamos ese lapso para migrar de estructuras no inclusivas a estructuras inclusivas. Que no se creen ni se pongan en servicio más centros de educación especial y que no se admitan más alumnos con discapacidad en los centros especiales, deberían ser declarados a extinguir, que subsistan hasta su completa desaparición.
Discapacidad Televisión.
¡Hola, mundo!
Primer canal de televisión dedicado al colectivo de personas con discapacidad desde 2006.